This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Hey, Corey, it's Tom from AA. Just thought I'd give you a call, man, see how it's going. Give me a call back later on if you want. Talk to you later, bud. Bye-bye.
Later. Hope Tom's doing well, man. He's one of them cats that was always at a meeting. Good guy. 16th of February 2021. My name is Corey Winfield. It is apparently Relapse Awareness Month, so be aware, people. Relapse. Beware of relapse. I sometimes would get pretty confident, pretty cocky with it. Like, I'm not going to ever drink again. That's fine. It sounded good. It's one of those things that come out of your mouth. It sounds good, but then my actions weren't backing up what I was saying. And that happens quite a bit. They might have at first, like if I got out of a treatment center and, I learned this and this, and yeah, it's my emotions or whatever I was thinking at the time. I might put in a little work, go to a couple meetings here or there, but I wasn't doing absolutely everything necessary that I needed to do to assure myself that I would never drink again. I couldn't even come to terms with that fact that I can never drink again. I still had some reservations towards that. So, it takes what it takes. If you have a friend or a family member, a loved one who's maybe been to rehab 4 times or 5 times, cut them some slack. It's not easy. If it was easy, we'd all do what family members have told me. We'll just stop drinking. Okay. It's addiction. The way it affects our brain is just unreal. It takes a toll on us. And drinking is a slower, like if you compare it to like meth or something, a little bit slower. Like you can start out younger and have some drinks, and it's fun. I'll tell you, like when I started, I drank because it was fun. And then when I would feel bad, my brain would tell me, hey, I know what to do when you feel bad. Let's have some fun. This makes you feel good, remember? It wouldn't really have conversations like that with me, but it would get in there and it gets in your brain. And next thing you know, you're having a bad day. And people that do this. I had a bad day. I need a drink. It's in all the movies. You need a stiff drink. That's how it starts. And next thing you know, it's 3:00 in the afternoon and you're starting to shake and you can't control it. And you need to get to the liquor store so you can stop it. That's the only way you know how. And for me, when that happened, I was scared. I knew that this wasn't right. I knew that this is going to go badly at some point, but I was so far away from family members and I had isolated so much that I tried to keep that away from everybody. And being on the radio, I was writing this grant yesterday, and in there I was kind of talking about some of my radio experience, and like a lot of people think that's a great job. It is. It was fun. But for someone who is isolating, it's bad. I'm in a room by myself with a microphone. And the station I worked at, we had 4 radio stations and we had 3 programs. So 3 people. And the salespeople don't count. They're on the other side of the building. Hardly ever saw them. So I really didn't have to see many people. Unless I was doing like a broadcast or something. I was out on remote. But yeah, I would go home and just get with it. But relapse. A lot of friends of mine, personal friends, and I don't judge them for it. And they know me and they know that I'm not judging them for it. But it's about, I told one of my friends, it's about what you do now, man. You can go numb the pain some more if you want. It's only going to cause more problems, and it's not even a really good numbing agent, Like, I don't know, you start taking your problems like, well, why did I do that? Or because I was angry, because I felt, hurt was the real thing. I felt betrayed, I felt let down, and I felt unimportant, and I didn't like that. Okay, well, how are you going to deal with that? Well, if it's somebody that's in your life that you thought, I really thought that person cared about me, well, maybe they care about you, but just not as much as you thought they did. Maybe that's not the right person for you. There was a relationship that I was kind of halfway in, but not really. It wasn't like anything major. But I started noticing the red flags, and this is when I had maybe 6 months clean. And I noticed the red flags. I picked them up, and I stared at them. And I said, I don't want red flags. I don't want to do this anymore. So I told her that, and, that was that. But the old me would have just, oh, what red flags? And I got a buddy of mine, Rob. He knows about red flags. But it's easy to ignore them sometimes because you think this is what you want and this is the person you want to be with. But at the end of the day, is that how you want to be treated? And it's not a knock on them. It's just maybe they're not capable. Maybe they don't have the same feelings, like maybe their ideal relationship with you is something that's completely different, which, that's on them. You can't control what other people do, what other people think. Unless you got like duct tape or something. I'm not even going to say the next part I was going to say, but you know what I'm saying. What can you control about the situation? And if that's not a way you want to be treated, well, what can you do about it? That's how you can avoid some of those situations where you keep telling yourself, oh, but I want to be with this girl. Oh, she's great for me. Or ladies, same thing. Oh, this guy's so dreamy. I don't know if that's how you talk. Probably not. Oh, he's hot. I don't know why I just gave women a man voice, but shout out to Kevin in St. Louis. Appreciate you listening, man. But anyway, you get what I'm saying, though. Control what you can control, and don't let it take you down, because you know how far you've been down before, and especially if you have 4 months, 5 months clean, 2 weeks, a day, it doesn't matter. Where you were at when you're at your last using point is the worst place that you're going to be. The further you step away from that, the better life is going to be. And that's the promises. Go hit up an AA meeting. Ask them, like, somebody read the promises really slow for me so I can understand them this time. And maybe you read them. And read them to where you understand it. Don't just read it. If you ever go to an AA meeting and I'm there, you'll know if I'm reading something. It's usually very dramatic. It's drawn out. Sometimes there's an accent to it. Because I'm having fun in recovery, but it helps me to get what I'm reading. I know it's really weird, and some people think, oh, Corey's just making a mockery of this. No, first of all, I'm having fun with it. And second of all, it helps me kind of understand it when I read it slower and dramatic. So if people don't like it, then fine. But I'm still reading. And but those promises, though, they do come true. The longer you can stay away from your drug of choice, the better things are going to go for you in your life. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I said my name's Corey Winfield. This is the 217 Recovery Podcast. I think I just jumped right into it. Marnie, she would have corrected me, but she's not here. Marnie's at work. Normally we do the podcast a little bit later in the day, but as I was getting ready to take a nap, I realized I didn't have time to take a nap. I know, my day is so hard, right? No, man, I did some college work, made some phone calls, did some things, but yeah, Marnie normally would be here, but like I said, she's at work, and I have to go pick up a guy and take him to Grand Rapids, which will be fun. It will be. I'm not like being sarcastic. It'll be fun. I used to stay in Grand Rapids. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good little trip down memory lane of where I don't want to be again. And with that said, I'm doing the podcast early today, but a guy reached out and he's got 40 days clean. And I probably should have mentioned that before I put it in my blog. My blog today is a text that I responded to him with. So he's got 40 days clean. Family members kind of like not really trusting him. And I told him that we've lied. I've lied, to loved ones and to my mother, so many times that you can't just expect them to trust you again. We have to prove ourselves to earn that trust back. And you can say all the right things. And I'm telling you, like when I would say them, I meant them. At least I thought I did. But you never know what's going to happen. I was sitting here with my friend Dustin yesterday, and he's like, yeah, but you got this, and, Marnie's never going to leave, and this and that, and you guys, I'm like, you don't know what's going to happen. And I did a podcast about this a couple weeks ago, about, I don't know what's going to happen. I can tell you, oh, man, if your wife leaves you, or if, your husband leaves, or whatever, it's got to be stronger. I mean, it sounds good from where I'm at today. this nice comfortable chair in this awesome studio. But I don't know where I'm going to be mentally at that minute, if some stuff happens. So I have to take it just like everybody else, man. I can't get too cocky with it. I got to be grounded and have some kind of plan. If something bad does happen, what I do? I like to go to meetings. There's a few friends that I do call, but I have to make sure that drinking is not an option, because that's just going to ruin my life again. And I'm telling you, I spent way too much time ruining my life, not even knowing I was ruining my life. I didn't understand how good life could be. Being trapped in your house, feeling like a prisoner. I had to order out food all the time. Like, I couldn't even drive to the restaurant to eat, it was sad, man. It was really sad. And nobody has to live that way. And you don't have to feel bad. It's addiction. It happens, and like I said, with alcohol, before you even know it, it just grabs you and it's got you. And you get to that moment, like I said earlier, where you're just at 3 o'clock, you start getting the shakes. And then it becomes noon. You start getting the shakes because your body's withdrawing and needs alcohol. And then you're just like, oh my God. But you don't have to be embarrassed. Don't have to be ashamed. I used to be that way. I thought nobody could know. And if you don't want people to know, that's fine too. You don't have to go start a podcast or a company or anything, but you can do whatever you want when you're sober. Just remember that. And you don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to feel like you're a bad person. You don't have to feel like you're the alcoholic. You have substance use disorder, whether it's, heroin, which I heard the NFL player Vincent Jackson died in a hotel room. It's like, man, when that stuff kind of happens, it's just like, what they're going to come back with, probably an overdose. And his family did this wellness check on him. They called the police and they went and checked on him, and it was a few days where they talked to him, but then they found him dead today or yesterday. Vincent Jackson. He was a good wide receiver, Chargers. And then I think he played with Tampa too. But you never know, man. Addiction doesn't discriminate. Doesn't care if you're white, black, male, female, rich, poor. Doesn't care. They'll take you. And it just goes to show you, that's why you shouldn't feel embarrassed. Asking for help is hard. But there are people out there that want to help. So who are you to deny them an opportunity to help you? Remember that. But podcast is a little shorter today. Like I said, I have to go do this ride. Thursday, I'm going to be talking with Jonah Frick. He wrote a book called Detox Hotel. I have not read it. And I'm not going to have time. You know what? I might get it on Audible. No, I'm not sure if it is on Audible. I don't know. I guess I'll find out. But we'll see. Yeah, maybe I'll read it before the interview. If I can listen to it before the interview, I will. But tune in for that. He's got 13 years clean. And his story is, I don't want to say comical, especially if you talk to him, he'll be like, it's not really comical is the word I would use, Corey. But you'll know what I'm saying when I talk to him. He's a good guy. He stays down in around Kalamazoo, Battle Creek area. But yeah, he's got 13 years, went back to school, is doing some good things now, wrote a book. So tune in on Thursday for that. Check out my blog. Like I said earlier, I should have probably stated a little. It would make more sense probably if I would have put on there that, this dude has 40 days clean and couldn't really understand why people aren't giving him the benefit of the doubt. And he's saying all the right things, which is good. But he just needs to keep backing that up with actions, and 40 days turns into 41 and 42 and 80 and 90 and 365 and 2 years and 20 years, and he's got grandkids. Or it could go a completely different way, which isn't as nice. So, thanks for listening. 217recovery.com if you need more info. If you you need resources, there's tons of resources there for you, especially if you live in Michigan. And I want to shout out again to Kevin in St. Louis. Also, my friend James Deere, he does meetings every Thursday at 3 p.m. It's like an all-world meeting, which is really cool. They talk funny, but because they're from a different country. But it's really cool, man, to hear somebody from halfway across the earth have the same problem that you had. And you're like, oh my gosh, man, like this is crazy. But that's addiction. And that's why we can relate to each other so much, you know. Might not have the same exact story because everybody's journey is different, but so many similarities. It's just crazy. Well, his meetings are online, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Facebook, we have a link to it. I'll probably share it again this week. But James Deere, I need to have him on the podcast. I don't think I've ever had him on the podcast. But he's doing big things, and you know he's doing it worldwide. But he's a cool cat, and yeah, check him out. And appreciate you listening. I will talk to you on Thursday. And Marnie, sorry that you couldn't be on this podcast, but when I get home tonight, you'll be thankful that it's done. So thanks again. See ya.